Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Jen from Bookish Blonde. So today for you, I finally have my March wrap up. I know this is a little bit late into April to be getting this, but I just got back in town from a little getaway to North Carolina, and I had my spring break, and life has just been busy. So sorry for the wait, but let's talk about what I read in March. So I read a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, a total of 10 books. 4 of which were middle grade, which was a lot of fun. In that 10 books, it adds up to 3,994 pages, which is a lot of pages on average compared to like the other months. And my average rating for those 10 books was a 3.95. So overall, really good reading month. There is one book that I read for part of my Read Like a Booktuber series that I will not be sharing or talking about today, but I will talk about 9 of the books that I read. So also, before we get started, I realized I did not put out a video where I did my March journal, so I'm just going to share with you my March title page. Came out really cute. So yeah, so there's my March journal page, but I didn't do the setup and everything this month. So let's just get started. Okay, most of these I have returned back to the library, so I don't have a whole bunch to hold up, so I'll add some pictures in. But the first one in March I read was Moongarden by Michelle A. Berry. This was one of the group reads for middle grade March. Overall, I give it 4 stars. This was a middle grade science fiction / fantasy book. Overall, it was a really fun read. It was a fun retelling. It was really cool to see the similarities from the original Secret Garden through the group chat or the group discussion that they did. So that was a lot of fun. I loved how Myra learned so much about herself as she got to know the people around her. I thought that was a really good message for middle grade age readers. And you really see Myra kind of struggle with her purpose in life and finding that and what's that mean for her. And overall, it was really good, really interesting, entertaining. I probably would have liked it more as a middle grade reader, but yeah, I did enjoy it. 4 stars. Then I read The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, which was also part of this middle grade March group read. I gave that one 4 stars. Classic I enjoyed as a kid. I enjoyed it again. I loved watching Mary grow as the garden was growing and how she, just learned more about herself through that experience. It was a very joyful, uplifting book. The morals of the importance of healing and love, working on oneself to continually make us grow and be better people, and how we can learn about ourselves from others as well, which you had both arching in both those books. So overall, that was a really fun experience. I enjoyed both of those. Okay, the next middle grade I picked up was Amari's Great Game, which is number 2 in the trilogy by B.B. Alston. I'm not sure what the trilogy is called actually, but overall it was 4 stars. Another fantasy book. I can't get too much into what that's about because it would be give you guys some spoilers there. But a very good second book. I feel like a lot of times when we have trilogies, the second book is my least favorite. But this one was so solid. It was action-packed. It was filled with a lot of imagination. Amari's bravery in it was just so fun to experience as a reader. The friendships that she built in there were great. This was my favorite out of the 4 middle grade I read. So definitely love the series. Want to get it on my shelves. And definitely want to read book number 3 eventually. The last middle grade I read a little later in the month, but it was the Bletchley Riddle. This was by Ruta, Sepetys and Steve Sheinkin. I gave this one 3 stars. I think I was expecting a little bit more because I love Ruta Sepetys' young adult books, her historical fiction. Definitely a solid book. It was about code breakers in World War II, historical fiction. We have 2 siblings who's, the girl's 14, the brother's a little older. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. Maybe like 19, 20-ish older. And their mother has disappeared and they're told that she's dead, but they don't believe that she's dead. And anyways, you go through the mystery of what happened to their mother. The code breaking part was really cool. Overall, again, just a solid historical fiction. I think as a middle grade reader, you would really enjoy this. It was fun. There were a couple things about it that I didn't like. Without giving you a spoiler, there was a scene that I rolled my eyes as a mother. I'm like, that would never happen. But other than that, it was pretty good. So yeah, overall 4 books for middle grade March. I think that's the most I have read for middle grade March. So I was pretty proud of myself. There are a few I didn't get to that I might read later in the year. I don't know that I'm going to wait till March to read the rest of the middle grade books that I wanted to read. But yeah, so then, okay, let's talk about adult titles. So the first adult title I read in March was Rabbit Hole by Kate Brody. This one, unfortunately, did not work great for me. It was 3 stars. I'm not mad I read it. I don't feel like I need to own it on my shelves. I don't know that I would recommend it to everybody. But what it did do well that I did enjoy was it was a mystery. It was a little more slower burn, but it was dark also. But it really tackled... excuse me, it tackled grief in this book. It was very engaging and it did a really good job exploring grief. But it was a very sad book. It was very dark. Gosh, it feels like a million years ago I read it. But yeah, it did a good job exploring grief, what grief does to not only the person, but the family, and then generational, what grief does based upon what happens to the previous generations, how it affects younger generations. So all of that was done really well. Yeah, it was good. It was a good book. 3 stars. Okay, so the next one was for my Go With The Flow book, and that was Find Me by Alafair Burke. This ended up being number 6 in a series, which I didn't realize, and I kind of did some research. It's okay I read it as a standalone or read it out of order, but I think I would have gotten a little more out of it had this been book 6 with the main character, the homicide detective, but that's okay. But overall, this was good. You heard a little bit about it already in my Go With The Flow vlog, so I won't go into too many details, but sucked me in, wasn't very thrilling, but it was a solid mystery. Definitely will pick more up by the author. If you want more of my thoughts, I will link that video below. Clever Little Thing, which is now back at the library by Helena Echlin. Never read this author before. This definitely was a bingeable horror book. I gave it 4 stars. Very unsettling. I even got goosebumps at one point. Very entertaining. I really enjoyed the pacing in this book. There was chapters of the then and then the now, and I really liked how we were back and forth in those timelines. I never felt like I wasn't ready to leave one, or the pacing of how that was written was great. It was definitely thought-provoking. It definitely was emotional for me. Definitely talked about different things: motherhood, mental health awareness, autism awareness. But yeah, it was easy to read. It was well written. It was creepy, very unsettling, and definitely curious to check out more horror books by this author. It wasn't a really dark, scary horror in the sense like there was no body horror, no disgusting parts. So maybe light horror. I don't read a lot of horror, but it was so good. Definitely recommend that one. The Librarian Spy. So I was supposed to read the reading list for one of the not the Go With The Flow, one of the On the Cover challenge with books on the cover. I listened to it on audio, and I could not get into the audio narrator. And then I went to go pick it up in person or in physical form, which I own it, and it's back on the shelves already. But I realized that there's books in that book they talk about and that I haven't read, and I read that it could spoil that for me. So I decided to put it as a soft DNF for now, and instead I picked up The Librarian Spy by Madeline Martin, which is on my spring TBR. There's books on the cover. This is World War II historical fiction, 4 stars, really solid book. I don't know that I think this was my first book I've read by this author. The writing was great. You had the mystery in it. My only small complaint or critique, I guess, if you will, about this one was it took forever for the 2 character storylines to connect to each other. And then when they did, it wasn't much. There wasn't this climax of their 2 stories getting together, in my opinion. But overall, each of their stories were solid. I really enjoyed them. I really cared for the characters. yeah, so overall, really enjoyed it. 4 stars. We'll be picking up more by this author for sure. Okay, what else am I forgetting? So, the one I can't talk about, I gave 5 stars. One of the 3 reads for Read Like a Booktuber, which that video will be coming out the end of this month, early May, the worst case. I've only read 1 out of the 3 books, so I have to get cracking on some of the reading. But, yeah, so just know whatever it was, I loved it. It was 5 stars. It's probably going to be a favorite of the year. You'll have to wait in suspense until I get that video out. And then I started The Sirens by Amelia Hart on my Kindle. I did not count that in my stats because I did not finish it, so I will count that as an April book. But just know I'm enjoying it. And then last but not least, I read Valor by John Gwynne, which is book 2 out of 4 in the Faithful and the Fallen series. Here it is right here. It's a big old chunker. This did take me all month to read because I was reading other things while I did, and it's more of a dense, epic fantasy, but I loved it. I loved it so much that it made me think maybe the first one wasn't 5 stars. Maybe I should have changed that to 4 stars because this definitely was 5 stars. The way this book ended, cannot wait to pick up book number 3. I think it'll get started in April. We'll see. I don't think I'll finish it in April based upon my other plans for April's reading. But this was so good. It was so helpful. It had a list of character names in the beginning. So that really helped. I wish we would have had that in book 1. I think that would have helped my reading experience. But I did not feel lost or confused. I would flip back for reference here and there. But for the most part, I was following all the storylines. And there's a reason why I can't find book 3, a used copy of book 3, through all the bookstores I've been to recently and on Pango and all the places. Because I feel like once you own one of these books and you read a John Gwynne book, you don't want to get rid of it. This is going to stay forever on my shelf. It was so good. And I'm so excited to pick up book 3. I have to know what happens next. So this was a 5-star for sure of the month. So probably it's my favorite of the month was Valor. And the surprise book that you don't know. Those are tied. But overall, great reading month. Sorry again, this was so delayed, but it just took me a minute to have, it's April now when I'm filming this. I didn't have time to film the video. So that being said, what was your favorite book you read in March? Chat with me down in the comments. Thank you for watching as always. If you have made it to this part in the video and you don't really have anything you want to comment, you don't really feel like there's anything you want to say, just let me know you're here. Put some kind of flower emoji. That would be great. I really appreciate you guys for always watching my channel, and I will talk to you in the next video. Happy reading. Bye.